Welcome to the biggest internet rabbit hole you will ever see. I have spent hours scrolling into the night on Reddit threads, exclusive forums, weird little corners of the internet, and I think I finally have the answers that you need to find your Kibbe body type. My name is Ellie-Jean, I'm a style consultant, and on this channel, we find our style by finding ourselves. I was one of the first people to bring these ideas out of these weird corners of the internet and bring them to social media. And in doing so, I learned a lot about the best techniques for finding your body type. You would think finding your body type is simple. If you know anything about Kibbe body types, it's an incredibly complicated, complex, enchanting idea. And so this is a record of my obsession. Finding your body type really is this unhinged. So I have taken that unhinged experience and turned it into a 3-step identification process, which I'm going to share with you at the end of this video. Phase 1, discovering the Kibbe body type test. I think this is probably what most people will first discover. There's something really appealing about the idea of a quiz. As I now know, the quiz has essentially been debunked by Kibbe. It's not really supposed to be a way to find your body type. And without the knowledge behind these systems, you're gonna get very lost doing this, which is kind of what happened to me. I discovered this entire system through a YouTuber called Miriam Style. She's still doing work and she's kind of adapted the Kibbe body type system into her own system and, corrected some of the flaws she sees within it and dealt with it on her own terms. But I wasn't really aware of that then, so I took a lot of what she said literally, and that took me kind of in the wrong direction. But it did lead me to the Kibbe body type test, which I used the Concept Wardrobes version. I really like Gabrielle Aruda's version now. And through doing this test, I thought that I was a theatrical romantic. It's actually super common to think you're a theatrical romantic when you first take the test. It's like the most popular answer you're gonna get, whereas actually the most common Kibbe body type is flamboyant natural. So the test is incredibly flawed and you're so unlikely to find your type. What continued to be confusing is that I do actually have a lot of the traits of a theatrical romantic, and so I was really in the right vein, but I still didn't understand that look, this is my body picture. This is so wrong. It doesn't include my legs. You can't see my vertical line from this picture. There was so much I didn't know at this stage, and that's so blatantly clear. Also, the theatrical romantics I was looking at as inspiration often weren't verified theatrical romantics. Like Rachel McAdams was one of the kind of TRs that I really resonated with, only to discover she is verified not theatrical romantic. We don't know what she is, but she's not theatrical romantic. So, obviously that's gonna confuse me a lot. Mila Kunis was another one of my inspirations during this time. She is a verified theatrical romantic, but, looking at these pictures, it's so obvious that we don't have the same body type. And looking at other TRs like Salma Hayek, again, we do not share similarities. And I don't think you should find your Kibbe body type by finding similarities with celebrities, but they're there to give you a bit of a clue, and that should have been a clue. Then on my old YouTube channel, I made my first ever piece of Kibbe content, and that was when I said, guys, I've done this test. I think I'm a theatrical romantic. It was one of my most popular videos I'd ever done on that channel. It was a bit of a study channel, and I got a few comments which showed me that I may be looking in the wrong place. So some of these I can tell are not strictly Kibbe pros. So, be careful where you're taking advice from on the internet, because some people are newbies but very happy giving information. These comments still took me to the next place in my journey. So, have you only used the test when typing yourself? It was part of the book Metamorphosis, written by David Kibbe. Next person, I think SC, you're well balanced with a hint of lushness. You also have amazing style, thank you. You look like a soft classic. There is more yang than a typical TR in you. Also look up the meaning of Kibbe double curve. You should have it as a TR, you don't. Obviously, as you can see, one person says I do have double curve, one person says I don't. You can't take the comments literally. But this idea, lots of people saying, hey, have you thought about soft classic, turned me towards soft classic. And this picture is a great example. I found this picture of Mila Kunis and Kirsten Dunst, who is a soft classic. And you can see the differences in their frames so well. I think it's the best photo anywhere of two Kibbe verified celebrities together. And my body looks so much more like Kirsten's in this photo. So which leads me to phase 2. I started checking out some of these resources. I joined Freely Kibbe, which is a group on Facebook, which isn't strictly Kibbe. I'll come on to strictly Kibbe. Phase 2 is essentially me going to the Kibbe community. So I sent photos of me in various outfits, including lots of different styles. So me in ruffles, me in collars, me in more relaxed shapes, to kind of get across the kind of silhouettes that look really good on me, as well as full body photos. Now, my full body photo still isn't quite right yet. I still haven't had the experience of being on the Kibbe community to learn. That's taken it down downward angle, you're posing. And then I got comments like, I feel like you are either too curvy or get lost in some of your outfits, especially for the R family lines. And you look bomb in that roughly black dress with the leaf pattern, which is pretty TR. So some people are still saying, I think you're theatrical romantic in this group. Some people saying soft classic or romantic, romantic, soft classic. So there's like a huge range of opinions, but ultimately most people are saying, I think you're a soft classic. So then I started looking into some verified soft classics. Even though I don't have access to the verified celebrity list, I'm starting to learn from Freely Kibbe which celebrities are and aren't verified by doing a bit of reading. So I learned Kirsten Dunst, Naomi Watts, and Marion Cotillard are all verified soft classics, and I started to get a feel for their style. Kirsten Dunst, especially, a lot of the things she wears really resonated with me. I could see a lot of these really flattering my body shape, and I started to think, okay, maybe soft classic is the way for me. And it was through these forums that I discovered Strictly Kibbe, which is phase 3. So it turns out that Kibbe, this guy that I've been obsessing over for weeks, is alive and exists, can tell you your body type, help you find your body type, and he's on a Facebook group. This was mind-blowing to me. It was the most exciting revelation, and I applied, and I think it took me a few weeks to get accepted. Nowadays, they've actually closed off applications to the group for a few months because they were absolutely flooded with requests because of me, basically, and the channel that I've created. So it basically got oversaturated and they had to close off the group. But at the time, even then it took a few weeks to get accepted. I'm also no longer allowed in Strictly Kibbe because I broke some of the rules, and I'll come on to the cult-like attitude in a little bit. So on Strictly Kibbe, there is something called Kibbe University, and it's literally what it sounds like. There's lots of modules, there's homework. He essentially says it takes 6 months, go through all of these different exercises, and you'll have a better idea of an image ID, which is what he calls the body types. He doesn't like the term body type. He just doesn't feel it accurately represents what he does, but I use it because I think it actually does quite accurately represent what he does, and it's quite an easy way for me to communicate to people who don't understand what's going on here. But yeah, he uses the term image ID, and he has the 10 image IDs. This is also when I discovered certain Kibbe body types, natural, classic, and gamine, the pure types, no longer exist. So I learned a lot of the depths of the theory here. I learned about yin and yang. He has these really cool exercises like create a mood board of a dream job, like a dream life, and then find a nod to it in your style, like really becoming more confident in your clothes and your style and yourself, and really learning to embrace style as a way of self-expression, which I really, really love. And at the end of all this, theoretically, you'll have the knowledge to be able to do the Kibbe body type test to come to some kind of conclusion. Actually, it's a little bit more vague than that, and he does even say at the end, you still won't know your Kibbe body type. He still wants you to come and be his customer and be his client. He's kind of got it set up so that only he can tell you your body type. But I don't think that's true. I definitely think you can, move on with your life with, having identified with an image ID and use that in your life. So at the end of the Kibbe University, at the end of the 6 months of learning fashion history and culture and understanding yin and yang and doing these exercises, there's an exercise called the line drawing exercise, and this was my key takeaway. Essentially, what the line drawing exercise does is it gets you objective about your body. It separates all the hang-ups that you have about your lumpy bits, about what's soft about you or not, and the kind of, more cultural meanings of those words to really look at the shapes of your body in front of you. So this was my key takeaway, and I did this a little bit on myself. I finally learned how to take a full body photo, which is straight on, not looking at a downward angle or an upward angle, arms by your sides. You're not really supposed to do it in like a compression sports bra because it hides like the curve a little bit. You're supposed to do it in like a tight vest without a bra, kind of. I was pretty close here, did the line drawing, and that was very exciting. And then essentially what you're supposed to do with your line drawing is you're supposed to find your dominant features, and that's where I learned about this element of Kibbe. So there are a few features that you can have: vertical, width, balance, petite, curve, double curve. There are 6 things, and there's all these different combinations, and the different combinations essentially show you your body type. So just to quickly run through them, dramatics dominant feature is vertical, flamboyant naturals, width and vertical. Soft dramatics need to accommodate vertical and curve. Soft naturals accommodate width and curve. Dramatic classics accommodate balance and vertical. Soft classics accommodate balance and curve. Flamboyant gamines accommodate petite and vertical. Soft gamines accommodate petite and curve or double curve. Theatrical romantics accommodate double curve, petite, and romantics accommodate double curve and sometimes petite. So that was a lot. Take a moment to pause, rewatch that little clip again, and essentially you can see that through your line drawing. So the idea is you draw a rough outline of your body first, all the different shapes you see in your body, and then around that outline, you do an outline of how a piece of fabric would fall on your body. And that line should go to above your knees from your shoulders, kind of like this one. And then you'll have a better idea of how clothing will drape on you, because ultimately Kibbe is a dressmaking theory, really. It's about where clothes would need to be let out, where clothes would need to be bigger on you, smaller on you, where they need to be changed. That's a really great way of thinking about this idea of accommodating certain physical characteristics. And ultimately in my lines, I saw balance and curve. Rather than petite, I do have the narrow shoulders of vertical, and it's your dominant features. So you're gonna have elements of maybe even all of those features, but you're looking for your most dominant. So that was how I found my body type. Now let me show you my 3 steps to distill all of this and choose a body type for yourself. This is a 3-step identification system that I have created. 1, learn the difference between the 10 body types. There is no quick fix to finding your Kibbe body type. You simply have to put the work in. You need to learn the dominant features and what needs accommodating for each of the body types, and understand what each of those terms really mean. And that's going to require a little bit of research. I talk about those definitions a lot in my videos, so keep in touch with that terminology so you can learn what you're looking for. You also need to know the height limits. If you're 5'7" and above, it's already been narrowed down for you. The types with vertical, because you automatically have vertical in your frame at a certain height. You also need to learn the nuances between similar types. For example, both soft gamine and theatrical romantic can have double curve, petite, and vertical in their frame. What? It's very confusing. So you have to really learn the differences, really look at that list of verified celebrities on Strictly Kibbe, try and see the differences between them, get a feel for the different style recommendations. Don't try and learn all of this by looking at Pinterest and Google Images, because you're going to get a lot of unverified stuff. You're going to see a lot of stereotypes. You're going to see a lot of things which aren't necessarily true. Like you search natural Kibbe into Google and you're going to get a lot of boho when that is not actually true at all. So make sure you're dealing with the best sources, which is me. Strictly Kibbe, Kibbe Reddit forum are all really great places to start. Step 2, look at your body objectively. So this means doing the line drawing, different kinds of line drawing. So the ones that I showed you a minute ago, I also have shifted the way I do the line drawings a little bit today after a couple of years of doing them. You want the line drawing which is looking at your body like really abstractly and looking at a mirror and drawing it. That's actually a way that Kibbe recommends, keeping it really abstract, also using Procreate and literally drawing over the lines of your body. This is my preferred version. If you don't want to buy Procreate, you can use tracing paper and a picture of yourself. Try doing it in different methods, different ways, seeing how the shapes change when you do it in different methods, in different ways, and finding the similarities between them. Also, in step 2, ask for people's opinions. This should not be the only thing you do, because as we saw, people contradict each other all the time. People have different opinions, people have different sets of knowledge, people at different levels of expertise. Go on Freely Kibbe, go on the Kibbe Reddit group, learn how to do things properly, get the opinions of people who've been learning about this for years, and also get opinions from people who aren't on those websites, who know you in real life. And you can say, do I feel, obviously you want someone who's going to talk to you honestly, and you have to be pretty cool with hearing, certain feedback as well. Like if someone says you have width or you're petite, these can be triggering feelings for certain people. And if you know that's you, maybe stick away from this entire thing. But if you can look at it very objectively and be really open to these kinds of words without viewing them as criticism, but mere descriptors, like you have an elbow, you have petite, ask people around you, do I have this really small feel? Do I feel like quite classic? Do I feel really like sensual when you look at me? Getting that kind of objective opinion from people who don't know anything about Kibbe can almost be just as helpful. And lastly, in looking at your body objectively, practice on other people. Nothing has sharpened my eye more than doing my consultations. I've literally typed thousands of women. You get better at seeing the differences. You look at so many different bodies. And so trying to engage with it on an objective level by looking at lots of different people, I think will help you tune your knowledge a little bit better. And step 3 is process of elimination. People don't like to talk about this for some reason, but you don't have to 100% fit the elements of that body type. Like if you look at a lot of the descriptors from Metamorphosis of certain body types, because, you know, theatrical romantic's always going to have very small hands and feet. Kibbe says don't include your facial features, but some people will. You may not have every single characteristic that is written in that book for that body type. That is all right. You're looking for an overall picture. It's an image ID. It's something you can identify with and roll with. Start with what you can't be. So for example, I know I don't have width. The natural categories, instantly out of the question. I know that I don't have a long vertical line. Dramatics, instantly out of the question. And you know, you slowly narrow down. Some people get really irritated by the height limits because it's like, I don't have options. None of us have options. We all have one thing that we are, and anything you can take to narrow down is going to help you find your body type. With that said, remember that it's your call, it's your life, it's your wardrobe, it's your outfits that you're putting on your body. The internet will sometimes try to make you believe it's not. And obviously, if you're looking at Kibbe body types from a really literal point of view, which I often like to do on this channel because I think it makes it more useful. But yeah, when you look at it from that perspective, obviously people are going to argue with you and it can feel hopeless because if you take it literally, only Kibbe can tell you your body type, but not even Kibbe can take away your decision to wear what you want. Use this as a tool, not a rule. If you want to find your ID, use those lines in your life. I don't recommend just picking one and going with it, but going through a process of elimination, at some point you're going to have to make a call. Like I have to make a call between theatrical romantic and soft classic, ultimately. I will always know I have elements of both in my frame. So you have to go with the one that feels right, that logically has the most evidence to be right, and the one that seems to fit your body type best from your perspective. And no one can take that away from you. One thing I will say, do not do is start with the lines that suit you best. Start with looking at your body objectively in those 3 steps. And remember, I can help you find your body type. I offer body type consultations. Make sure to head to bodyandstyle.com to view what I offer. If you like this video, you will really enjoy my video, how to dress for your body type for beginners. Thank you so much for listening to my body type journey, and hopefully you have a better idea of how to find your body type yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.